In this tutorial we're going to create ledge climbing system. It's going to cover a few variations, for example vertical run, grabbing onto the ledge and hanging from it, climbing up onto it, and then also is it climbing from the knees, the feet or the hands, depending which height you hit the ledge. If you're flying down and you're landing on your knees, you want it to land on your knees. You don't want it to slide past, grab on the hands, and then you have to climb up. Or if it's actually landing with its feet halfway on the ledge, it'll pole vault or something like that, climb onto the ledge with its feet. Okay, so I created a third-person blueprint project in Unreal Engine 4 4.8. I also created a little placeholder animation for the new mannequin, and it looks like this. It's very straightforward, no animation, just a placeholder. You can use this, you should see it in the description, a link to it, you can go and grab the file if you don't have any ledge grabbing animations. Okay, now once your project's open, go to Edit, Project Settings, go to Collision, create a new object channel, call it Sphere Tracer, set default response to ignore, create a new trace channel. Let's call it Ledge Trace. Ignore default responses, accept, close. Cool. Now let's go to our character. Where is my character? Okay, open your character. We need to create a sphere to check if it's cool to do the channel trace. So let's call it Sphere Tracer. Excellent. Open the viewport, look at the Sphere Tracer, expand it a little. Once you're happy with the size, that's basically going to affect how far you are from the wall before you can start registering that you need to do traces. So with it selected, we're going to change its collision to custom. We're going to change its object type to the Sphere Tracer. We're going to set everything to ignore except world static and ledge trace. Ledge trace will be block, world static will be overlap. We make sure generate overlap events is set to true. Back in your level, we're going to be experimenting with this ledge here, or the static mesh. Select the static mesh and go to its collision. Set the object type to world static. Make sure generate overlap events are on, and here Sphere Tracer should not be ignored, but it is because that's how we created it, because we don't want everything to have that. Now we're going to go to tick overlap and then file and save all. It's very good practice to save everything every few seconds because engine crashes and that's not cool. Go back to your event graph of your character. We're going to create an event tick. From your event tick, we're going to branch and we're going to check promote this to a variable. Call this variable can trace. Where is it? Can trace. Can trace. Okay, so we're gonna do can we trace. We need to get this Sphere Tracer and on overlap begin event, or just overlap begin. What? On add on component begin overlap. Okay, so with that there, we want to set can trace to true. And then on component end overlap. Okay, just say end overlap. Event actor end overlap. This is the actor we want it just for the sphere. End overlap. Add on component end overlap. Copy and paste and set it to false. Okay, so comment this and call it can trace event. That's just to set can we trace. I'm very OCD when it comes to how my blueprints look. I'm a bit lazy at the moment. I've had some crashes while doing this. Okay. So if it's true, when we can trace from event tick, we want to do 2 traces simultaneously. We want to do a sphere trace. Single sphere trace by channel. We're going to set the visibility trace channel to ledge trace. Make an array for actors to ignore and just leave it blank, because right now we don't really need to ignore anything. We're going to make the radius quite small. We'll make it 20. Okay, now we need to work out where it's going to start and where it's going to end. So where it's going to start. Firstly, to keep it simple, this is a 3-part tutorial series, so I'm going to leave out a section here now, but we don't need it right now. We'll add it later, because every time I seem to explain how it's done, my system crashes or my hard drive runs out of space. Good times. Okay, let's get the actor location. Break. And then make. We want to get this, and we want to minus and plug it in there. Just make this 0. Okay, it might seem a bit unnecessary having this in here, but it's not. It's a placeholder, and we are going to be plugging in information in there later. But for now, it's not necessary due to the fact that we're splitting it up. I'm repeating myself. Okay, so this will basically be the start. And then what we want to do is we want to plus, not a float, we want to plus a vector. And this is going to be our end location. So I'm going to work a bit backwards here, and I'm going to say make vector. And now let's start at the right location, get actor rotation, get the forward vector. Break this, make it, it's already made, so just plug it back in there. Same thing, you can actually just copy and paste that one. And again, it's a placeholder, it is going to be used later on. That should be almost it. We're forgetting one thing. So we get the actor rotation, get the forward vector, and we want to set how far forward for our character. We are going to multiply it by 150 because we want to check 150 units forward. You can copy and paste this. Plug X and Y into that, multiply it. Okay, cool. Excellent. So that should then theoretically be good. It just something doesn't look 100% kosher. Maybe it is. Okay, well, let's quickly check this out and see if we can see anything. Set the debug to for one frame. If you set it to other stuff, it can tend to look a bit noisy. Okay, cool. So as you can see, the capsule is there. It is tracing. It's not showing that it's heating. Boom. That's weird. Okay, but it was there. I'm going to set this to trace complex. Let's see if it then returns anything. Something is not right. Let's just quickly go through this. Select the static mesh, check that its ledge tracing is blocked. No, I think that's the problem. It was not blocking the ledge tracing, and there we go. Okay, cool stuff. Sweet. Okay, so for neatness, I'm selecting this, collapsing it to a macro, and I'm going to call it wall tracer. Let's call it wall tracer. That sounds cool. Wall tracer. This is the start and this is the end. You don't have to rename the output node inside the macro. I like to do it so that it just looks neat. Okay. Just move this up, yeah. This down. Okay, well, then we also need to do another sphere trace by channel. Except this one is going to be used for the ledge height. So I'm going to comment this and I'm going to call it wall tracer. And this is going to be the ledge height. So for the ledge height, it's very similar to what we just did. Get actor location. Then we're going to break it and make it. X and Y should be good. And then for the Z value, this is where we're starting now. So starting the trace. So we're going to trace downwards. And we're going to make this value 500. Not 5,500. That should be the start. Almost. Plus, I'll just move this back so we can see what's happening. I apologize if I'm going fast. I've been this now the third time I've done this due to crashes. Okay, we're going to get the actor rotation, get the forward vector. We're going to multiply by a float. We're going to multiply by a float. We're going to make this 70 because I don't want a massive gap. Basically, this is how much forward is your downward trace occurring. Okay, we're going to plus that to that. Why is it looking weird? Let's move it like that. It looks neat. Okay, this should be good for your start, but now we need to calculate the end. So for the end, what we're going to do is we're going to break the vector, and we're going to break the vector, make the vector, break and make minus, because we want to go downwards, so we're minusing here. Make that 0. Let's give it some breathing space there. Okay, cool, that looks fine. Okay, I'm going to select all of this that we just made, and I'm going to collapse it to a macro again. And I'm going to call this the ledge tracer. Open it up. On the input, select the input node. Click new on the right hand side here. And then call it float or make it a float. And let's call this the distance. Let's call it distance. Cool. Drag that to close to the empty minus we have here. Put that inside. Excellent. At the output, create a new vector value. Rename them to start and end. And this is going into the end. Okay, let's go back to the graph. I'm just closing the macro. Start and end. And we'll make the distance. We need to trace down. So if we're tracing up 500, we might as well trace down 550. Same story, make an array here. Leave it empty for now. That's already set to ledge trace, and for one frame, trace channel, ledge trace. Okay, cool. Let's just quickly see if it's there. Okay, as you can see, it is there. I'm just going to do one simple thing here so it's easier for you guys to see what's happening on the screen. I'm going to take my camera boom and I'm going to make the value 500 for now. Play. Come on. There you can see it's hitting the wall and it's hitting the top. That's exactly what we want. Okay, just comment this block here and call it ledge height tracer. Go back to the wall tracer section. Just expand this comment block a little. Break the hit result. Okay, come on. Break the hit result. Also, I'm going to branch from is it hitting something or not. If it is hitting something, we want to get the impact point. Right click, promote to variable. We're going to call this the wall trace impact. Excellent. We want to get another thing. We want to get the impact normal. Right click, promote to variable, and call this the ledge. Let's call it the wall normal. Okay, so we've got the wall normal and we've got that. Excellent. And now let's go back to the ledge height tracer. At the ledge height tracer, man, we're going to do the same. We're going to branch out. If it is hitting something, we want to break this hit result. Cool. We've got that. Move this up a little bit more. Okay, so this impact point we want to get promoted to a variable, and I'm calling it ledge height. And we want to set this value. Okay, so once that value is set, we're going to branch out of it. Actually, I'm not sure if we should, because this next check is actually more for when we get to the more advanced stuff of this ledge climbing. I'm just compiling and saving everything. Okay, let's leave out the branch for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement do once, because I don't want it repeatedly firing over and over and over and over and over. I just want a little bit. Okay, from here I'm going to branch out again. Okay, so this check I'm including is basically leeway for the future tutorials. I'm going to say not. And we probably need to promote this to a variable, and let's call this variable is climbing ledge. Okay, is climbing ledge. So if climbing ledge is not true, then only can it go ahead and do stuff. So that stuff is what we're going to do now. I created a folder called blueprint interface. You don't have to put it in that folder, you can put it in any folder, but we do need a blueprint interface. So I'm going to call this char move interface. Inside char move interface, I'm going to call this can grab ledge underscore bi, because blueprint interface. We're going to create a new input. I'll keep it as a bool, and we're going to call the value can grab underscore bi for blueprint interface. Gonna compile and save. Excellent. I'm gonna go to the character blueprint, go to class settings, add the char move interface, compile, save, bam. Now let's get the animation blueprint. Blueprint, where is it? It's this one, third person. There's quite a lot of them. So just so there's no confusion, go to your character, select your mesh, check which one it is, find it in the content browser, open it up. As you can see, I cheated. I already created this, so I'm deleting it. I'm compiling. Going to class settings, and we're going to add the char move interface. Cool, it's done. Now, I cheated more. Delete. Yes. Okay, we're going to create the can grab interface here. Can grab event, I mean. We're going to promote this to a variable, and we're going to call this can grab. Cab grab. Cab grab. Can grab. I'm going to comment this, and I'm going to call this section interface events. I'm going to make it bigger because later we might add more. It is giving me problems because I cheated even more. I created this already. We're deleting this. Done. Okay, so now that we've done that part, at the branch event, we're going to say grab interface, can grab interface. So we're calling the interface event we just created. I'm going to get the animation instance, and we're going to tell it. Well, that's not going to tell it anything. Can grab interface, just drag from it. I selected the wrong one there by accident. Okay, cool. So this is basically going to tell, okay, I can do my thingy and then tell the animation blueprint we can grab something, because the animation blueprint needs to know as well. You can do it another way. What you can do is you can get the animation instance and you can cast to the third person anim blueprint, and then either set the bool, or you can even do in your animation blueprint, you can just cast to the character or get the character and then get the bool value. There's various ways, but this is how I'm doing it. I'm just sending it and I'm telling it's true. So when it is true, I'm going to say set movement mode, character movement, and I'm going to set it to flying. Why? Because it works for me. And then I'm going to move component to, which won't do anything. You first need to grab the capsule component and then move component, move component to displays. Okay, so now we are moving our component, and when our component reaches that location, we want to stop the movement immediately. Okay, so stop the movement immediately. Okay, let's save that. We're almost done with this first part of the tutorial. So for the rotation, what we are going to do is we are going to find a look at rotation. Then we are going to get the actor location and plug it in to the start. Then we are going to take the wall trace impact, where it actually hit the wall, and that will be our end location. This will ensure that the character is aligning correctly with the wall surface. Now, the trick is to get the target relative location to work correctly. And what we're going to do is, from the target relative location, make a vector. Okay, so earlier we set the ledge, not the ledge height, the wall normal. We're going to get this wall normal and we're going to multiply it. Bam, 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 bam. Multiply, there we go. Okay, so if you click on capsule component, look at your capsule of height, which is not correct. It's not correct at all. Look at your capsule radius. That's what you want. So multiply it by 42 and 42. I'm a bit stunned now because earlier I used a half height, which half was what, 48, and my stuff still worked, maybe because there's only like what, 4 units difference, but in any case that is not the point. We're gonna pull out of here and we're gonna break this vector. Okay, and remember we got the wall trace impact point. We're gonna break this vector as well. Then we are going to get the ledge height, and guess what, we're breaking it as well. Yes, we are. Okay, cool stuff. Let's just line this up. Damn it, it's not. Why is there a gap? There shouldn't be gaps. Okay, so we want to add the wall trace impact and the wall normal to each other. We want to do the same for the y value. Okay, y value is set. Now, the z value, we want to minus. Hey, what happened? Minus. This is again a placeholder for more complex stuff coming soon. And then we are going to make a vector. Once we've created this vector, I believe this is the location we need. Okay, so I'm going to collapse this to a macro, and I'm going to call this the wall go to location, so I know what that is. I'm going to open this up, go to output, and I'm going to call this a location. Compile, close this, move this so it looks a bit neater. Okay, so basically what should happen now is it should move your character to the correct location. Let's see. Well, it's doing something, and the dude looks a bit weird. He's like, oh, he just looks like that. Okay, so he went there, he grabbed into position. Excellent stuff. There's no animation as of yet, and also the height looks a bit weird, which makes me think I missed something. I definitely missed something somewhere. Yes, I did. This minus that we left here, that go to input, this is on the wall go to location macro. So I know I'm skipping a bit, but on the move component to macro, wall go to location, that does the target relative location. You remember we created a minus from the ledge height. We got the z value and we created a minus there. So at inputs, call this height. I'm calling it height, and let's be awesome and call it height offset. Yes, float. Make it a float. You can move it closer here just for neatness. Okay, cool. So now, close the macro. Now you can wall go to location, and you can set that. I'm going to set it to 100. So it's going to be 100 units below, and it should look a bit better. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay, excellent stuff. Now let's go to the animation blueprint. We create this interface event, and we added it, yeah. I heard a noise. Thought my PC was acting up again. I might be running out of hard drive space also. If you're very rich, please donate me a hard drive. I'm using a very old one, and it's like 80 gigs and it constantly runs out of space. That would be awesome. That would be really awesome. Thank you. Go to default. No, we're not going to default. I need to show you what's happening. So in the animation graph, there's already a default state that comes with this template. And we've got idle, jump, jump loop, jump start. So we want a new state. add state, and we're going to call this ledge grabber or ledge grab. Okay, and we want it to be able to transition from the jump start and from the jump loop there, but we also want it to get out back to jump loop. Now, I don't know. Oh, I created that variable. I didn't cheat. So let's can grab. If it can grab, it goes into the transition. What is this? Okay, and if it can grab, goes into the transition. In order to go back, if it cannot grab, it goes out of the transition. Compile, save all again, save. Okay, so it should play the animation. Or no, it won't play animation because we missed something. So we need to go to the ledge grab state, and we need to actually add that placeholder, or if you have your own ledge grabbing animation, just add it in there. Bam, done. Okay, so what I noticed earlier is that while I'm recording, the thing doesn't line up 100%. Don't ask me why. The moment I click pause and I play the game, if I click pause the recording software and I play the game, it works fine. But let's check from other angles. Okay, cool. That works. That works as well. I think this should wrap up this part of the tutorial, and the next part will go into letting go of the ledge, and also climbing up onto the ledge and implementing the rest of the stuff. It might actually only be a 2-part, we'll see. But thanks for watching. Cheers.